Minecraft Dungeons came out about a week ago, probably closer to 2 weeks by the time you actually see this, and I've been playing and enjoying it a lot. And luckily, it also presents me with an opportunity to actually make a video about something relevant for once. Although by the time this video comes out, it's honestly possible it might not be relevant anymore. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, according to YouTube statistics. So to start off, I think I'm just gonna say that since the camera system in Minecraft Dungeons is just so extremely different from that in normal Minecraft, it's like a top-down view rather than a first-person one, I think what we're going to have to do is have another entity that you control, probably a villager, because it's, somewhat humanoid, and you'll just be suspended above it and you'll click where you want it to go. A little bit ironic, given that a lot of the game is about saving villagers, so controlling one doesn't make a lot of sense, but, whatever. Alright, so to start off the movement, what we need to have is right and left click detection. Right click detection, as always, is just going to be with a carrot on a stick. Left click detection is actually a bit more interesting. See, what's actually going on for left click detection here is we have a pig floating above my head. So every time I click, I'm just hitting this pig, and that's a lot easier to detect. The next step in this process is some ray casting, which I've talked about before in other videos, which you should definitely watch, by the way. But if you haven't seen those, ray casting is just a technique of detecting where a player is looking by teleporting an entity forward until it hits a block. So that's just what all of these command blocks are, is just teleporting an entity forward and checking if there's a block, and just doing that over and over again. The result of that is that if we click somewhere pretty close to us, we can see just an armor stand summons here, and that's, not super useful on its own, but we can easily use that for movement. So here we are, teleported on top of our nice little villager, and if we left click to summon a thing, you can see we walk forward, but that right there, that's an issue. The problem, in case you're wondering, is just that I never made it so that it ever actually deletes the target armor stand. So this guy is just always trying to walk towards it and just going back and forth around it. I think that that's one of those rare fixes that can be fixed with just the addition of one command block. Yeah, that seems much better. So I would say the movements, it's not super smooth. It might be a bit better if it was slower. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better, I think. I think the next thing we've got to do is set up some sort of attacking system, of course. Alright, this bit, I'm not quite so sure how it's going to work. In Minecraft Dungeons, what happens is when you click on an enemy, the player will continue to target it until you click elsewhere. So, what I'm hoping to do is set it up so that if there's like an armor stand near an enemy, like an armor stand that this guy is targeting near an enemy, then that armor stand will just teleport itself to follow that enemy until this guy gets close enough. Alright, so we have a very strange scene right here, but effectively what's going on is that I marked myself as an enemy and summoned the targeting armor stand right next to me, just to see if it would actually follow me, and it seems to be doing just that, although it looks rather strange. So just to test if this is working, I swear I spawned these pigs farther apart, but they kind of just wandered together, but no matter. If we walk towards them and click on one, that seems to be doing it, and as you can see, the pig was moving, but we didn't go to where it originally was. We went to where it was after it finished moving. That time I think I clicked just a little bit far away, but I think as long as you're reasonably accurate, it should work. And actually, I'm gonna make it so that you don't have to be quite so accurate, because it felt like I was clicking close enough that it should have worked, but it didn't. But that time it worked. So it's not the end of the world, but I'm just gonna touch it up a little bit, make it a little bit less sensitive. I feel like this is a good time to point out I'm going to be storing health, not in actual health, but just in a scoreboard objective, for the simple reason that it's going to be easier to do exact amount of damages based on that scoreboard objective. I know it seems counterintuitive to make a scoreboard objective tracking health when there's already like a piece of data associated with health, which is, health. But I really think it'll be a lot easier to do this way. Speaking of scoreboard objectives, we're actually up to 4 now, so I just want to clarify what they all are. We have the right click, which is how many times I've clicked with a carrot on a stick. We have the left click, which is how many times I've hit the pig. We have health, which is health, and we have attack cooldown, which I should rename because I was doing like capital letters here, but we have a underscore here, which makes me unhappy. But that's just going to be the cooldown amount on attack. Alright, so here this guy has 100 health. And now if we go towards him, slowly, God, I should increase the range. That does not seem to be working quite right. Yeah, no, still has 100 health. So I definitely have to change something up, but I'm not really quite sure what. So, I think I figured out the problem, and as so often happens, it was one letter. Super trivial. But now that that's done, it should work. Yeah, see, the attack cooldown on the right is counting down. But it's not actually doing anything yet. Okay, I changed it up. Now you can see the particle effect there. Sort of. It's partly underground, but it's there. And, if we check the scoreboard objective, that has gone down to -75. Although you'll notice the pig is not dead, but that's just because we haven't made it so that they die when their health is 0. Before we do that though, I just want to fix the particle effect. It is no longer underground and looks much, much better. Alright, once we exit out of this command block, the pig should die, and that is exactly what happened. So I would say we are in good shape. And if we do just kind of like a full run through here, we can run towards the pig and kill it, just like that. I don't know why it died in one hit. Oh, we just hadn't set the health. Alright, now that we've set the health on this one, if we walk towards it, we'll hit it 4 times, I believe. And perfect. The pig has now died. Which means that we are able to move on to the next stage of the project. Which I think should probably be arrows, because arrows are kind of a major part of Minecraft dungeons. So let me just do that. I'll be right back. First test is unsuccessful, I'm afraid. But the second test, maybe, is looking much better. I think it's safe to say. So, in case you're wondering how the arrows worked, it's something I haven't talked about before. It's called shoot facing, which I think is a dumb name, but that seems to be what it's called. Basically what it is it's a technique of setting the motion of an entity in the direction that a player is looking. And the way you do that is you have an entity at 0, 0, 0 that you teleport forward in the direction that the player is looking, and then you set the motion of the other entity from the entity's position. There are a lot of entities. I'll make it clear on the screen which one is which. So I think the next phase of the arrows has got to be to make it so that it does damage, or quote-unquote damage, to the entity by reducing its health scoreboard objective. So let me do that. Alright, let's see if this is working. It is not. Why is it doing that? Oh, you know what I bet it's doing? I bet it's kind of, the arrow is shooting itself. Like when it shoots, it sort of sees itself and registers that as the entity that it's damaging. So it's trying to do damage to itself, which kills it. So while I was working, I had kind of a revelation, which was that I was being dumb with the scoreboard objective and just overcomplicating things like I always do. I know it seems counterintuitive. Mainly because the arrows, they're just going to automatically do damage on their own. So I don't know why I was worrying about setting the scoreboard. And I've changed my mind, and decided I'm just going to stick with actual health. The result of that, though, is we're going to need to change the sword up a little bit, or the melee attack. Alright, this is the test. This should just be doing instant damage to this pig. Here we go. That seems to be working, and actually, I think that looks a lot better. Just because the pig is actually taking damage the whole time, which I think just makes it look a lot more convincing. So I think the next thing I want is a little bit of a UI, which will hopefully just show you both your health and also the health of whatever you're attacking. Alright, here it is showing us our health, and if we click on this zombie to attack it, it shows us its health. But it's not doing damage to it. Oh, you know why? It's because undead monsters are actually healed by instant damage. So we're going to have to change that up somehow. So I went for the laziest possible solution. It just does instant health instead of instant damage now. So yeah, that's kind of sad. I might need to change that in the future, but for now it works. Alright, I just wanted to do a complete run through real quick, just to see how everything is working. So we can see here we have several zombies. I decided to add a limited arrow counter, because I think otherwise it would be kind of OP. Although here, we're able to just spam arrows anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh god, we're getting hit. Run away. Alright, head back. Hit it. Okay, we gotta retreat. Can we get them? This is a waste of arrows, but it does a lot of damage and doesn't put us in any danger. And last zombie, I'd say we're good. So skeletons, I don't want to get too close because I feel like they're going to be a lot harder. So let's just try to arrow this one to death. That failed miserably because I'm a terrible shot. Guess we're going for melee. Come on. Alright. Did we get it? We got it. I expected it to die faster. Why isn't it attacking us? I guess skeletons don't attack villagers. Which is another thing that I'm probably going to have to change eventually. I really don't know how I would do that. I was almost certain that the skeletons would attack the villager, because I thought they did that, but I don't know, I guess they don't do that. Well, aside from that one tweak, I would say that worked really well, and it actually felt a lot like the actual Minecraft Dungeons game, I can say, as someone who has played it a lot lately. However, there are some things that I did not add yet, like enchantments and stuff, or more enemies. But right now, we've been doing this for a really long time, and I don't think I would be able to cram those into a 10-minute video. So I will probably do a part 2 of this in the near future. So keep an eye out for that if you're at all interested. Anyway, I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like it, or if you didn't, feel free to dislike it. But either way, I will see you guys all very soon.